Thank you for coming to our master class. I'll begin with telling you a story from almost exactly 10 years ago. The year is 2007. The place is New York City. I'm an actress, and today seems like an ordinary Monday, except for one thing. Tonight, I'll be raped. Of course, I don't know that yet. We're on a date. It's our first date. I've known him for years. He's an actor like myself. We have a lot of mutual friends, and I trust him. We're at a little French bistro. Dinner is wonderful. He's wearing a button-down shirt and jeans. I'm wearing a short sundress and ballet flats. We swap stories and we laugh. My apartment is around the corner, so I invite him up for tea. We talk some more, and we feel the attraction. He kisses me. I kiss him back. It's all delightfully harmless. It's getting late. I walk into the front door adjacent to my bedroom. Thank you. I've had a wonderful time tonight. I'll see you soon. He wants more. He kisses me again, harder. He uses his body to angle me into my bedroom and then pushes me up against a wall. My 5'4", 105 pounds starts to feel pitiful to his 5'11", 180 pounds. You have to go now. I keep my voice light but persuasive. He kisses me again. He tries to push me onto the bed forcefully, not remotely, playfully. I hold my ground. No, you have to go. No, he says, grinning, his teeth glowing in the darkness. I'm not going anywhere. The air has thickened like blood clotting. Dread curls around the edges of the room like the scent of rain before the sky slits open. He comes towards me, I back away. I bolster myself with tactics. My mind sifts through every self-defense lesson I've memorized in college as a women's studies student. I prep myself. I place one hand on either side of his head, dig hard into his eyes with my thumbs, knee him in the groin, bite, kick, scream, urinate. The shock and disgust might unsettle him, letting me run. He grabs me. I steel my body against his, twisting my arms and torso the way I was taught to do with assaulters. He keeps his hold on me. My teeth and hands tingle ear to bite, to claw, to obey my orders. But the vile truth, as bitter as bile, he is much too strong. I flay with all my might, fighting like a fish caught on a hook. He keeps his hold on me, and the tussle flings us onto the bed. My left cheek is pressed against his shoulder and turned towards the wall. My room is pink. I painted it this way, pink with a daisy yellow trim. Growing up, I had always wanted a pink room. There's a Benjamin Moore, a block down from my acting agent's office. The day I signed with him, I gave myself a pink room. I'm trying to create something soft for myself within the black and gray bruise that is New York. Life is so surprising. Just how crayons fail to taste like their names. Paint on a wall will be much brighter than paint in a can. I envisioned a light blush pink, but ended up with pink as vivid as flesh, sliced open. Now, I'm inside a mouth. Lining the flesh pink walls are stacks of books, arranged in a way I think is pretty. My bed frame is lovely too, black wrought iron and delicate pattern of leaves and flowers, much like the tattoo on my ribcage tucked in that spot between my breasts. I chose that area for its sweet privacy, believing no one would ever see it unless invited. My bed frame, I found it on Craigslist. It didn't come with a box spring, so I balanced it on plywood boards. I haven't stopped fighting. I'm still trying to wiggle out from beneath him. He's pinned my wrists above my head, first with both his hands, and then with only one. With the other hand, he's undone his jeans and hiked up my dress. Now he knees apart my legs and enters. As he jams in, I force myself to imagine that what I'm feeling is an inanimate instrument like those found in a gynecologist's office, which, given my age, I've only been to thrice. Now, as he grunts and grunts, his upper lip, body, and torso growing clammy with sweat, musky male yet acutely his own, cracking like lightning, the boards underneath my wooden mattress, my mattress breaks under our combined weight and exertion. The mattress tilts like a split bone. It juts into the air at an awkward angle, shaking with each thrust. The broken boards scratch my flesh-pink walls. You're just too beautiful, he says. hissing between groans. Astonishing, the power of the human word. Through a mere handful of sound and suggestion, I feel guilt for being myself and fury for having it used against me. I wish to be anyone but myself, to be anything but attractive, to disappear and remain hidden indefinitely. I wish these things, and I hate him for it. I've looked left, right, and down, and so now I look into him. His sound, scent, and desire have filled the room full of him, yet he's completely left. His pupils have dilated so deeply, his entire eye looks black, dead of light, dead, dulled of any humanity. I'm still repeating, you have to go, you have to go, you have to go, although I don't know who I'm referring to, him or myself. I'd be grateful for either one of us to vanish. Now I switch to saying loudly, no, 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 spitting the words like seeds that won't take. Here we are. This is happening. The horrifying certainty hits me in the face like raw steak slamming a chopping board. Perhaps because he too believes this is an assured acquisition, his hold on my wrist slackens. His moment of slaughter is all I need. I slip my wrist out from his hand, press the heels of my palms against his shoulders, and push with all my might. No! I yell. The sudden volume and physical force are enough to shock him backwards. He comes on the same time he falls. If this weren't rape, if I weren't terrified, if my voice weren't hoarse from being ignored, I'd be embarrassed for him. I scoot back until I'm against the headboard, hugging my legs to my chest. My throat is chapped. I taste blood. I must have bitten my tongue. It'll hurt tomorrow. Silently, swiftly, he puts on his clothes. I say it once more. Leave! He does. After his sentence, you're just too beautiful. He hasn't said a word. I sit in the dark for 15 minutes, listing my options and weighing the cost of each. I decide not to call anyone. I decide not to call anyone because although I have so many people who love me and whom I love, I don't have a single person whom I can trust to help me through this darkness. I don't know a single person whom I can trust to not say, why were you wearing a short dress? Were you drinking? How many drinks did you have? Why did you invite him up to your apartment? Why didn't you fight hard enough? Did you fight hard enough? Maybe if you had fought hard enough, this wouldn't have happened. Maybe if you weren't wearing a short dress, this wouldn't have happened. Maybe you brought this on yourself. Maybe you brought this on yourself. You brought this on yourself. I don't call anyone because we live in a world that is more likely to shame and blame a girl than help a girl. I don't call anyone because often it is the way that people react to pain that hurts more than the wound itself. So, for not the first time in my life, I will have to lead myself through this darkness. I take a shower. Down falls the water and up rises the sound of my inner voice. She says, I say, this is my story. He is but one page, one character. This wasn't sex, this was assault. He is neither a man nor all men combined. He is one predator. He is a scab, and Mama taught me not to pick scabs, especially if they are human. Under my makeshift waterfall, I speak these words. They bloom, then distill into one sentence. Only I author my life. I step out of the water. Now the wrecked bed. I return the wooden slats to their precarious balance, angling them on the thin lip of metal, making sure they don't succumb to gravity. I lift the mattress and I smile, not from the strength in my arms, but from the lack of trembling in my hands. I sleep. Another day arrives, followed by another. The days form into months, months into years. I don't hear from him, but I will run into him. I will run into him because we are both actors, our world is tiny, and because life has a harsh, wise way of doing what she does. She will give us things as provocation to die quicker or to grow. I will read about him in the Times. I will see him in auditions. One time, I will sit across from him on the subway. How are you? I will ask, looking him in the eye. In response, he will move through every shade of pale and burn. He will sputter and shake. I will refuse to break eye contact. I will wonder, have you become more than your past self? Is that possible? For his sake, for all our sake. I have to believe it is. The idiom, everything happens for a reason, has never sat well with me. One cannot blurt, everything happens for a reason, to a person who's just lost a loved one, been raped, or been diagnosed with cancer. The truth I prefer is, I assign my experiences their reasons. The reason for this night was not to lose my faith in men, life, or my instincts. The purpose behind this one evening was it proved my resilience. My beauty and youth will fade, people and money will come and go, but my ferocious passion to live is mine evermore. Startling, realizing this lights something within me. For the first time in my life, I like myself. Life is masterful at being fearsome, but I have myself, and every day is a chance for us to rise. Another day arrives, followed by another. The days form into months, months into years. The years fly by to deliver me here, to stand in front of you. It has been almost exactly 10 years. I am now 33 years old. This is our master class, and I'm not here to tell you life is beautiful, but I am here to give you the precise tools you need to make your life beautiful. Chances are you or somebody you love has a story similar to the one I just told you. If you'd like, you can raise your hand in solidarity. Thank you. 10 years ago when I was raped, that was not my first brush with pain. The first time my world was violated, I was 11 years old. When I tried to find protection and help or love, I was told, don't be silly. Boys will be boys. It happens, especially between cousins. In that moment, I learned a few things. I realized a few things. I realized why it is that rape, molestation, assault, abuse, violence, and harassment exist and continue in our world. Because those who are in charge allow them to. The other thing that happened was I made a promise. I vowed that if the adults around me weren't going to speak up, I would grow up to one day be a voice for those who have been silenced. If you decided not to raise your hand just a bit ago, but you do have a similar story, realize that your silence is not a weakness. Silence is a byproduct of the world that raises us. It is a byproduct of the society we are raised in. So many women live lives of silence. So many women stay quiet about their stories of pain and assault and brutality because we've grown up being continually gaslighted. We're raised around all these messages that are telling us we are the irrational, irresponsible, hypersensitive gender, that we are creatures made for physical beauty but not for logic or intelligence, and therefore we need to second guess what we know to be right and true, that we should bat things aside because boys will be boys and we need to accept that. Of course, so many women are terrified to voice their truth because in this world, there is very little encouragement or space for us to speak. The night I was raped, I learned that nothing aside from death will kill me. I learned that adversity is not something I should fear, which is interesting because I was raised, probably like you, around so many messages that told me that I should feel and behave like a fragile victim. Like, we girls are dramatic, that we are not, that we should distrust our own power, and that we should fear any kind of adversity, pain, or sorrow. It is assumed that if you've gone through a traumatic childhood or miscarriages, assault, rape, or eating disorders or abusive relationships, betrayal, rejection, divorce, you're going to end up irrevocably damaged, shell-shocked, wounded, alone, and lost. You're going to end up a pathetic, embarrassing mess, and you'll be cursed with a terrible life. Not necessarily. I've been through all those things. All those messages that try to tell us we were born to be victims, all those messages that tell us we were born to break, those messages were designed to keep us small and controllable. Those messages were designed by people who do not wish to see us rise. This is the truth. The truth will set you free, and the truth can set you on fire. We women are privy to a unique complexity and volume and frequency of brutality, cruelty, scrutiny, harassment, criticism, judgment from the time we are young girls. Life can feel like one endless battle to feel safe, seen, appreciated, and respected. But as cruel and exhausting and unfair as that can be, I truly believe we can use the harsh reality to our advantage. We can choose to use every daunting challenge to grow and rise, to rise with resilience and become stronger in ourselves, our personal lives, and as leaders out in the world. Life is lifelike. And when the brutal lifelike things happen, yes, it can feel like you've lost a piece of your body or soul or heart, like something has been stolen from you, like you've been thrown off your path and flung into a deep dark hole you cannot climb out of. But you can climb and you can rise, because the truth is, no matter the things that really matter, no one can ever steal. The things that really matter, dignity, resilience, courage, integrity, resourcefulness, intelligence, self-ownership, self-love, self-awareness, these things no one can ever steal. In fact, every challenge will test, but then can strengthen and amplify these very qualities. Your mindset will determine how you shape your identity and trajectory in life. You can choose to live as a victim, a survivor, or a warrior. The night I was raped, I realized resilience is the one self-defense strategy that allows me to walk through any fire and heal any burn or any wound. I learned my inner voice is very smart, and if I listen, she will provide me with any strength I need. Which is interesting, because here we have been taught, we women, we fragile damsels, that in times of distress, we have to seek outside leadership. That we need to outsource for strength, comfort, or guidance by calling our dad, or a boyfriend, or a husband, or a mentor, because certainly we women are utterly incapable of being our own voice of wit and reason. This incredibly harmful psychology is what keeps us small and controllable and needy and neurotic. This psychology encourages us to behave scared rather than calm when faced with adversity. This psychology is a lie. The night I was raped, I realized the truth. You and I, we can lead ourselves through any darkness. Ultimately, everything in life comes back to our relationship with ourselves. The way a person behaves out in the world is a direct reflection of what they've been through, how they've chosen to respond, and how they feel about themselves. Self-love is a concept that is thrown around very enthusiastically, but I feel it's clouded with a lot of misunderstanding and confusion. Let's demystify it. Self-love isn't something you develop through buying yourself pretty things. Self-love is developed through living as somebody you can be proud of. Self-love is the authentic awareness and admiration for who it is you are. Use your adversities as a time to learn the qualities that help you rise into your best self. The qualities and skills of resilience, courage, resourcefulness, wisdom, maturity. In doing so, challenge after challenge, you can truly gain an authentic knowledge and appreciation for who it is you are. You can truly begin to trust and love yourself. Another concept that's thrown around so often is be your own best friend. Well, what that means is that in the quiet, inky stillness of night, when you are scared and alone and naked, you're able to be your own voice of comfort, strength, compassion, and intelligence. You are able to be your own ideal friend. Adversity also is a gift when we use it to develop the skills we need for healthy relationships. Use your personal challenges as opportunities. Now, healthy relationships are created through small and larger acts of courage that connect together like a constellation in the sky. What is an act of courage? An act of courage is when you're able to be a comforting voice of strength, empathy, or guidance for someone in their time of need, as they move through something vulnerable or painful or uncertain. Now, that's why, although this sounds simple enough, it becomes complicated by one very human thing: fear. Most people are terrified of sitting inside any conversation that feels remotely vulnerable or painful or chaotic. That's why, instead of truly addressing what they've gone through, they repress and hide. And instead of, when you're going through something painful, instead of holding their ground and holding your hand, they run, or they attack, or they put up a wall. They fail to give you that act of courage, the very thing you need to build and preserve strong relationships. This is where adversity can be used to our advantage. Use your personal challenges to develop the skill of being calm, mature, and resilient so that you can offer this to your loved ones when they need you most. When we navigate a challenge, we start to gain the verbal and internal language needed to thoroughly process what is happening, which is then a map you can offer others. And the more times you're able to do this, to be a comforting anchor and lighthouse for your loved ones, the stronger, deeper, and longer lasting those relationships will be. Similarly, because of their fear of vulnerability, most people are unable to be truly open. Yet, deep, lasting connection comes only from openly sharing and receiving our most vulnerable stories and qualities. Hiding is an act of fear, while opening and receiving are acts of courage. Use the courage you learn from navigating adversity to become braver and more authentic in your relationships. Learn not to flinch from the realities of life or the realities of people. Allow yourself this gift to be seen and to truly be seen. This gift of intimacy into being seen. Now, my favorite thing about adversity is we can use it to become leaders out in the world. Now, the disbelievers claim that we women are ill-equipped and disadvantaged at leadership. However, to live as a woman in this world is to live uniquely immersed and educated in adversity, and therefore resilience, and therefore leadership. The complexity, volume, and frequency of challenges we face from the time we are young girls, at school, at home, on the streets, in the workplace, gives us perfect opportunity to exercise time and time again problem solving, compromise, conflict negotiation, conflict resolution, diplomacy, dignity, integrity, justice, ethics, compassion, and courage. All the ideal qualities of the ideal leader. To live as a woman in this world is to continually fight for what is right. The world doesn't afford us the luxury of innocence. Every day we are bombarded with all this information, opinions, criticism, scrutiny, harassment that we have to rapidly synthesize and navigate wisely just to move down the street, just to go through a conversation. We aren't afforded the luxury of complacency or ease or entitlement or privilege due to gender. No. What we are given instead is we are continually called on by life to use our voices as torches of justice, to defend our needs, our values, our possibilities, our boundaries, and the needs, values, possibilities, and boundaries of those also marginalized. As leaders, we women are not ill-equipped. We are the obvious choice. As leaders, we are perfectly suited, we are executing daily, and we are prepared and skilled for more. If you are feeling remotely like something I've said sounds inspiring or true to you, it's because all I have done is raised a mirror. All I have done is I've snuck into your life to tell you that that which makes you female, that which is the female experience, is exactly that which makes you powerful. I've snuck into your life to tell you that your wounds are not reasons to be silent. No, they're invitations to speak, to rise, to connect, to embrace, to lead. As you move through your time on this planet, you will begin to trace patterns. Those patterns will coalesce into truths. You will begin to see that every challenge is actually a rung on the ladder you will use to climb towards your highest self. Right now, many of you are preparing to graduate and move out into the world. Chances are you're feeling a mix of excitement and fear, wondering if you have the right tools to succeed. As for the rest of you who are not yet graduating, chances are you're feeling the identical mix of emotions, of excitement and fear, wondering if you have the right tools to succeed, simply towards something else in your life. Because as human beings, regardless of age or what stage we're in, we're constantly in transition. We're constantly oscillating between fear and excitement, certainty and uncertainty, tiptoeing the edge of something new while we outgrow the past. While I cannot tell you what to feel, I can urge you not to feel afraid. Uncertainty is a form of limitlessness. So much is possible when so little appears set in stone. I truly believe all we ever need, we hold within. Every day, you and I are making countless decisions. The next time you have to make a decision, instead of stressing out and texting 8 girlfriends and your parents and your older sister about what to wear tonight or what to text your crush or what classes to take or what job to choose or what path to pursue, try calling on your inner voice to lead you. Of course, there are numerous times in your life when it's healthy and recommended that you seek outside guidance or support. But, especially given that as girls we were raised to feel like we aren't creatures made for intelligence and logic, that we have to be dependent, be careful about instinctively surrendering your power over to other people. If you were in the middle of the woods and there was no one else around, would you still call out for comfort or strength or guidance? Or would you look within? The next time you have to make a decision, take a deep breath, train yourself to sit inside the initial discomfort of being your own leader, and allow your inner voice to direct you through the darkness. It is by doing this, choice after choice, moment after moment, that you slowly design the destiny you wish to have, rather than allowing others to decide it for you. If your response to this is, oh, but I'm not strong or wise or confident enough to do this, well, how do you expect to become strong or wise or confident if you never exercise those muscles? There's an irony to all this. Think of all the times you have felt misunderstood or insulted or betrayed. Chances are part of your frustration came from feeling like your voice was being ignored, or like somebody took control over your life and started to manipulate it. Because regardless of gender, regardless of age, we all have a universal need to feel heard and understood and respected. We all have a universal need to feel we have a semblance of authority and ownership over who we are and where we are going. As human beings, our greatest right is the right to choose our choices, to shape the narrative we wish to live. So, my darling women, if you are continually allowing yourself to be dependent, if you are continually surrendering authority and authorship to only inevitably feel that pain, it's time we all accept responsibility in the cycle. Break the cycle by owning your power. Authority, ownership, authorship. Only you author your life. It is so crucial that you claim this truth, especially as women, and especially right now, given where we are as a global family in light of our political climate. Remember, the way a person chooses to behave out in the world is a direct reflection of what they have been through, how they've chosen to respond, and how they feel about themselves. Regardless of what side or demographic you socially or politically identify with, I think we can all agree that what we are experiencing is a conversation about behavior. Right now, there's a lot of argument and finger pointing and blaming and shaming. Right now, there's a lot of people feeling fury towards the rampant injustice we see all around us every day. Right now, there are plenty of people feeling terrified because they are part of a race or religion or sexual orientation or gender that is being egregiously attacked. All these passionate emotions are very useful if we direct them into focused, determined, mature, compassionate, loving, intelligent action to protect and serve each other, especially the voiceless, so that right now and in the next 4 years, we not only survive, but we manage to thrive. As with any adversity, let us respond to our political climate like it's an invitation to grow and rise with resilience, maturity, accountability, and grace. We were born into so many privileges, you and I. We have the privilege of education. We have the privilege of good health. We have the privilege of food, clothing, and clean water. We have the privilege of being part of a loving, strong family. Look around you. Each one of you is a gift and a resource. Above all, we have the privilege of having a voice. In this world, we are all responsible for each other's well-being. For those of us with certain power and privileges, when we decide not to use them to protect and serve others, then when those without certain power or privileges are hurt, we are participating in their pain. Complacency is how we enable others to be wounded. If you are feeling helpless or frustrated or confused about what you can do, here is a simple tool, a simple formula that you can follow at any given time in your life. Take stock of the world around you, of the holes and injustices and the missing parts you see in society. Take stock of your privileges. Take stock of the unique skills and talents you hold. Now ask yourself, how can I serve? Then answer and address this entire picture. Follow through. Here's a secret. By following this formula is how you also discover your purpose in life. Who knows? Maybe one of the injustices or holes or missing parts that you see in the world today will be the catalyst to you discovering your calling. Alpha Chi Omega. You are already doing so much. Your work with survivors of domestic violence, this work of rehab and healing and strength and rebuilding is so fundamentally crucial. Thank you. Because remember, the way a person behaves out in the world is a direct reflection of what they have been through, how they've chosen to respond, and how they feel about themselves. This means pain or violence or brokenness that has been unhealed will go on to create future pain, violence, and brokenness in the world. This is why your work is so important. This is why it is so crucial that we all learn how to heal and rise in ourselves and how to help others heal and rise. This is why when you are able to help someone else heal and rise, you are effectively reducing the measure of cruelty and loneliness in the planet. This is why what you are doing through healing and helping others rise, you are actually helping to write the future. RIGHT, WRITE. Sororities get such a bad rap. People assume that you are superficial or frivolous, and they call you terrible things like lemmings or meerkats or like lemurs, like glorified rodents, basically. Do not ever let anyone, including yourself, reduce you to a stereotype. Tell me, are you a glorified rodent? Are you superficial or frivolous? Or are you warriors leading the charge of love and compassion and strength? That's what you are. You are becoming lionesses, using your voices on behalf of yourself and others. And this is the most simple, directly powerful thing we can do to lead extraordinary, empowered lives. The cold, blunt truth is that the world will not give us the respect, progress, dignity, protection, rights, income, or compassion we deserve simply because we deserve it. The world will give us only what we command. Your voice is your greatest muscle. Studies have shown that the way you sound is just as important as the way you look when making a first impression. For instance, if I had come up here and I said, I truly believe that we can use the harsh reality to our advantage. I truly believe that we can grow and rise and become more resilient in ourselves, our personal lives, and out in the world as leaders. There are so many people who are just hungry to hold us back. Don't give them a chance to hold you back based on a negative assumption they've made of what you look like, what you sound like, your age, your youth, your beauty, the color of your skin. Don't ever let that hold you back. Empower yourself. Learn the tools you need. Start listening to the tone, inflection, and authority in your voice. Start listening to the words you use to represent yourself. Start listening to the likes or the question marks or the self-deprecation you slip into your sentences. In the name of progress, it is not enough to speak loudly. We have to speak wisely. We have to speak strategically. Our voice is our greatest muscle, and it is the muscle we lead with. Use every adversity to raise the caliber of your roar. Use every horror and heartbreak to become more articulate, more confident, more intelligent, more mature, more fearless with your voice, so that the next time you feel or see injustice, you can speak with unflinching poise and clarity for what you know to be right and true, to successfully empower yourself and others. Imagine if we all did this one thing, if we ignited our roar, if we raised the caliber of our voices. Imagine if we all spoke and roared with unflinching poise and clarity for our possibilities, our future, our needs, our value. If we all rose and spoke for the love and respect we deserve in our bedrooms, our relationships, our families, our workplace, in our schools, if we all became our own leaders and modeled leadership out in the world as citizens and as future parents, we could radically transform our planet through our generation alone. Revelations spark revolutions. Sometimes all it takes is one person. Sometimes all it takes is one group of clear, committed, brave voices. 10 years ago, when I was raped, I decided not to take legal action towards my rapist. See, I am not an American citizen. I am an immigrant. I was born in Bangladesh, I was raised in Thailand, and I moved to the United States when I was 18 for college. Today I have a green card, and I am an immigrant. I am, according to some, a leech on the American economy. I am, according to some, a threat to what makes America great. I am not a threat. I am woven into why we are great. 10 years ago, when I was raped, I did not yet have my green card. I was on my OPT visa, which is the one-year visa you're given after you graduate from college. I was living by myself in New York City. My entire family was still in Asia, and I was working at a restaurant to make money. I was so poor that I had to ration how much I was allowed to eat every meal. I would buy those $1.99 bags of baby carrots, and I would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carrots per meal, and this way I could make a bag last for about 4 days. When I was raped, I could barely afford food, so how was I going to afford a lawyer? And the truer truth was, even if I was assigned a lawyer pro bono, I didn't want to jeopardize my chances for being allowed to live in the United States, because I didn't know what a rape case would look like on my file when I applied for future visas, or one day a green card, or one day citizenship. Because although the fine print claims that survivors of rape deserve dignity and justice and will not be penalized for the crimes inflicted upon us, we all know that often the fine print fails to inform reality, especially if you're brown, especially if you come from a Muslim country like Bangladesh. So, at 23, I decided not to press charges because living in America has always felt imperative. It has been imperative to the vow I made when I was 11 years old in Bangladesh, in a country that so enthusiastically belittles and silences its girls. That promise that one day I would move to the United States, a nation that promises free speech and independence, because here I can speak my truth and be a voice for those without one. Remember, in the name of impact, we cannot only speak loudly, we have to speak wisely. So, at 23, broke, alone, and raped, I decided not to press charges, and I decided I would hold on. I decided I would not let my experiences use me, and rather I would use them to one day create a body of words that could inspire and empower others to rise into their bravest self. I dreamt of being in rooms full of women and men talking about how within each of us we have so much power and strength and possibility. You have always been my dream. You came true. It all came true as it needed to. Because ultimately, despite what the external world provides or chooses not to, all we truly need to thrive, we hold within. You are more remarkable than you may realize. I can see it in you, the many ways you will stretch and discover and create an impact. I know this to be true because I have lived long enough and through enough. The greatest harm you can do is to dream too small or to settle for scraps because of the fear you've carried in from the past or the fear you feel in your present or towards the future. Trust the abundance you are capable of, the abundance you deserve, the abundance you hold within. We girls, so many of us, were raised to feel like in order to be properly female, our highest priorities need to be the pursuit and procurement of the ideal man and the pursuit and maintenance of ideal physical beauty. Similarly, for men, most of them were raised to feel, consciously or unconsciously, like their bank account and their job will strongly determine their value and their attractiveness in the world. Now, all of these priorities and pastimes have their place, but they can never, ever tell our full story. Your value does not live in a mirror. Your identity, your truth, can never be defined by someone else's opinion or their presence or by the number in your pocket. What matters is what you have done to earn what you have and what you choose to do with that. What matters is the journey you have taken and the journey you will take. Your greatest beauty is the strength you hold within, your integrity, your resilience, your courage, your intelligence, your resourcefulness, your self-ownership, your self-awareness, your self-love. Everything else will fade. Everything else can be stolen, but not this, the things that really matter. Use everything life throws at you to continually fill into this truth, to continually raise the caliber of your roar. Use your voice for those who need your love, protection, and respect, including and beginning with yourself. Out in the sunlit world and in the inky, quiet stillness of night, live as somebody you can be proud of. Connect your daily acts of courage into constellations that set the sky on fire. You are this rise. Only you author your life. You are the voice you seek. You write the future. Thank you.